Today, I'd like to share with you how I created these 2 pages in my art journal with the inspiration of using wrapping paper. I am going to walk you through the process. Now, I will speed up the actual steps because it would take an hour for you to watch this video and I don't want to do that to you, but I hope you do follow along and enjoy the process. And if you have any questions, please leave me a comment down below. I'd be more than happy to share more details with you. Enjoy! All right, let's get messy. So the first page, I'm going to paint the background for the wrapping paper that has the flowers. And I'm using a palette that I put together of White Nights paint pans. These were actually being liquidated at my local art store, so I couldn't help but grab them. And I absolutely love them. I kind of wish I could have gotten more after the fact, but that's okay. You know what? I've got so much art material, I really don't need to hoard anymore. Let's just use it and have fun. So when I get to the end of painting this page, you're going to see the color that I used is called Mint, and it's sort of a blue-green color, and I know that the wrapping paper is probably closer to a blue-gray maybe, so that's okay because this is just inspiration. It's not a carbon copy. Heck, if I wanted it exactly the same as the wrapping paper, I would just photocopy it or hang on to the paper forever. I don't need to. I just want to create and have fun in my art journal. So here you just see me sliding another piece of paper behind the next page that I'm going to be painting. This is just to help keep the paint from bleeding onto the pages behind it. And it's just a little precaution. Even though I like messy art, I don't like making a mess. Ha ha ha. Okay, moving on. So next we're going to paint the background for the second wrapping paper. This one is kind of a purplish background. I would say more of a burgundy. It almost reads like a red wine, like that purple reddish hue. So I had to work with what I had, and I mixed violet and madder lake red, if I say that correctly. But you know, even if it didn't match exactly, that's okay. We're working with it. Again, doesn't have to be a carbon copy, just looking for the inspiration. I love the richness of the color and I was happy with that. Well, let me take a moment and play a little bit of music here as I am just spreading the paint all over this page. It's so lovely to work with. And right when I get finished with painting this page, I will show you again the 2 colors that I actually used in the pan palette that I created. I wrote down the names of each pan that I used. The next step after painting both of these backgrounds is really to just let it fully dry. You want it to be completely dry before you work on your next layers. All right, now that my 2 backgrounds are fully dried, it's time to have fun making the patterns. So the first thing I'm going to work on is the wrapping paper that has the flower pattern on it. I'm going to select all the colors that I need. I am using the woody crayons that are water soluble, and I actually decide to add a couple of Neo Color 2 crayons that help to get some of the darker colors in there, and both of them are water soluble, so we're just going to use that for now and see what happens. So as you can see here, I'm trying to get in all the details that I can. Similar to what the wrapping paper is showing. Of course, never going to be an exact copy, but I'm having fun trying to put in some more darker colors at this stage. And I'm definitely thinking in my head that I'm going to take out my water brush and blend some of these colors up and see how that's going to look, because I want that painterly look to it. I don't want it to look like a bunch of crayons scribbled on top right now. But this is really fun. It's definitely fun to use something that inspires you to recreate art that makes you feel good. If you're wondering what is the technique I am using with the water brush, I basically just squeeze a little bit of water into the tip of the brush, and then I make sure to always blend the same colors only. I do not mix from one color to the next, and I have a little paper towel next to me to wipe the color off of the brush, and I often squeeze water out of the tip of the brush to kind of wash it onto the paper towel, so I go back in onto the new color with a clean brush, if that makes sense. And my cat decided he wanted to check out what I was doing. Do any of you have cats or any pets that like to visit you while you're creating your artwork? As you can see, my cat managed to just turn my camera slightly over to the side. Oops, oh well, I was getting close to finishing this part anyway. So once I finish with the water brush and making sure everything is blended out, I decide I'm gonna let it dry and then come back to it, and I'm going to use some Artist's soft oil pastels. I believe this is the Gallery Mungio edition, and I've had this box laying around for a long time, hardly ever used it. When I do coloring pages in books, I like to add this as part of my mixed media techniques, but again, I rarely use oil pastels. I'm always worried about it being tacky after and like having to seal it so that it doesn't smudge. So I don't know. I guess it's a product that I've bought and maybe regret, but I'm gonna give them a try. I'm gonna use them more in my mixed media. So here I just pick out the very similar colors that I already used, and I overlay on top of them with oil pastels and blend them out using my fingers. I'm not sure if that's a good idea, but hey, what the heck, let's get a little messy. and I'm okay with it. I always keep baby wipes next to me so I can immediately clean my fingers, and I do have to pick up my stuff quite quickly when my cat decides to come and visit. I always am conscientious to make sure the cat doesn't get his nose or whiskers tied up into any of this mixed media products. So yeah, so let's just continue with this process and I'll move on to the next step. All right, so I'm just finishing up this page of the flowers, the inspiration from the wrapping paper that I showed earlier. I'm quite pleased with the outcome. I know it's not a replica, and that's okay. It was inspirational only. I had fun making this page, and I'm excited to move on to the purple side now. So I pull out the little wrapping paper inspiration again, take a look at the colors. It looks to be I will need some acrylic paints for this one, and I decide to use a pencil that has never been sharpened as a stamper. I'm going to actually use the pencil to dip into the acrylic paint and sort of stamp out the colored circles that are on the wrapping paper. And we'll start with that, and then I'll bring you to the next step once that's completed. So enjoy the process. I'll just play a little bit more music to continue. Oh, and just quickly here, I am using acrylic paint from a paint set that I have by Montmartre. It's some acrylic paint tubes, comes in a set of 24, never used it before, first time I'm trying it. And yeah, I think it gets the job done. I'm happy with it. So here I do take a quick moment to clean up the end of the pencil that I'm using as a stamper. I want to make sure it's nice and clean when I switch over to a new color. So once I'm done using the pencil as a stamper and apply all of my lovely colors with the acrylic paint, I make sure to let that dry. And now I am so excited to use the next product, which is a metallic paint pen. I love embellishments, so this is really the fun part of it, being able to do all of those circles and dots. So I'm just ecstatic right now. The paint pen that I'm going to show you is actually part of a set I believe I bought. It's made by Stedler. It's a metallic pen. I think it comes in a couple of colors. I don't recall now which ones I have. I believe there's a silver, something along the lines of a pink color, and a blue or grayish color. But it's really an awesome product. Like, this one is definitely underrated. I never see other people using it, but I picked it up. I think it was like at the local HomeSense or Winners store. So if you have one of those, either in Canada or the States, this is definitely a grab if you ever see it in the store. So yeah, let's move on to the best part, which is the embellishing, putting in all the dots and the circles. All right, so now we've come to the end of the creation of these two pages. I really love how it's come out, and unfortunately the camera does not do as much justice as when you look at it in person. I love flipping through my book and seeing these two pages pop out. It's just fun, and it's been a joy to show you how I've put these two pages together. And if you've made it this far and you're still watching, wow, thank you so much. I really appreciate your support and your interest, and I really hope to see you back on another video again soon. Thanks for watching.